Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday, June 11th, 2026 Commission meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order and have a roll call.
Commissioner Marquardt.
Here.
Commissioner Matherly.
Here.
Commissioner Barella.
Here.
If you all stand for the invocation, please. Not sure what that buzzing is. Okay. All right. Heavenly Father, we come together today seeking your guidance and wisdom. Grant us clarity of mind, fairness in judgment, and a spirit of cooperation as we make decisions that shape our community. Bless our county, our state, and our country, its people, and all those who serve it. May our work today honor you and benefit those we represent. Amen.
I think it's you. No, because I can't hear you over the microphones.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like I'm coming through.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are gonna, can we go ahead and start our 9:05 public hearing? It's a few minutes early, but, okay. Discuss and consider ordinance 26-03 adopting a countywide local economic development act local option gross receipt tax to be placed on the November 2026 ballot and be considered by the voters. Did you want to speak to this, Pamela, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to, my internet's really slow and I can't pull up the documents. This request today is only to put this option on the ballot for the public to make a choice on. You are not approving a tax today. I think it's very important for the public to know. They will have a vote on this in the November general election. And we're doing this now because we have to give Selena enough time to get that on the ballot. And this was brought to me, I believe, Commissioner Marquardt, you brought this to me, was it?
No,
I
wasn't
can't
me.
remember. Someone brought it to me, so it is here for your consideration. And if I could pull the document open.
I think it's a really good idea to put it on. That way everybody in the county has
A choice.
Right.
a bird's eye view of it, can read it. Hopefully they'll research it and see what it's for. I'm in favor of it.
And the LEDA funds would be for local economic development.
It's for qualifying infrastructure, land acquisition, public facilities, and financial assistance to qualifying businesses to create or retain primary jobs within the county.
Okay. All right, well, I'm in favor of that. Let the people vote on it and see what they decide.
Let me see if anybody wants to speak on it.
Eric, did you want to speak on? No. No? Okay. Did you want to speak at all, or did you just sign to sign it? Okay, okay. All right. Okay, since there's no one that wants to speak, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And we were going to move item 16 under new business and let them go ahead and speak because they have a long drive ahead of them. So if you want to come on up.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Eric Worshing with the Village of Cloudcroft, Cloudcroft Fire Chief and Emergency Manager. So what our item is, through the years around Cloudcroft, obviously we know it's heavily forested and overforested. Approximately a decade ago, we did a fuels treatment called the Severance Fund. It treated public lands within the Village of Cloudcroft. So we treated open space, which that particular fund was suitable for. Current funds are not suitable for that. It's just too expensive to work around homes and on roadways, around power lines, all those hazards, extremely high hazard areas. So currently we're working through a grant process and And that fund that we're currently working on is approximately 60 to 70% expended. We've been able to approach the state with a new prescription, which is a way of doing work. And Tristan, I don't know, Tristan's not here yet. He might come in a little bit later to speak on this, but he was able to approach the state and successfully plead his case that we can use these funds in these high hazard areas, which is extremely expensive compared to the normal way of doing things. So we're, again, about 60 to 70% through the project that we're currently on. We want to continue our Firewise program, where our constituency is extremely involved in this and ambitious. We have a lot of landowners that have requested additional support in terms of funding. So with the current funding that we're using, the Village of Cloudcroft was not capable administratively of handling those funds at the time. So luckily, Laura Doth here with Resource and Conservation District her group was able to administer the current grant for us. Like I said, we're almost done with that grant, so we'd like to continue the work and apply for a new grant. That grant is called the FARA grant, which you have listed here, and that is the Forest and Watershed Restoration Act. We feel with the momentum that we have and the interest within the village, we would like to apply for $2.5 million through this act. And I will also say that the U.S. Forest Service has several pots of money that they're using to then also treat the land surrounding Cloudcroft. One of those pots of money is this FARA Act as well. So they're moving forward. The NEPA's almost done. They're very close to being able to also move forward. So it'd be very much a joint project to surround and within Cloudcroft do significant fuels treatments. So although Cloudcroft currently is probably administratively capable or very, very close to it, we've been able to hire some very capable staff and we're good there. Financially, we're not quite there, especially in the terms of this grant. So this amount of money would be on a reimbursement basis to the contractors. In other words, we would pay out the money for their work, and then we would submit an invoice to the state and request those funds back. Depending on the speed of that work, the Cloudcroft is not confident that we have the amount of funds that we can bankroll that, basically. So this is not a new concept. We're not inventing a brand new process here. Laura has experience with doing this in Lincoln County. It's not super common, but there is a proven track record, and from there I'll let her talk about that.
Good morning, Commissioners. Laura Doth with the South Central Mountain Resource Conservation and Development Council. This is a unique opportunity. The legislature just, not this session, but the last session before that, made this a recurring fund. And so these funds are available for communities. One of the things that they are doing is looking at communities and how they rank danger-wise. Yay. We're in the top 10 with Cloudcroft with that. So this is a competitive grant, but given where Cloudcroft sits within that ranking, we're very confident that we'll be able to secure the funds with it. As Eric said, we've done this process in Lincoln County now, and the county has acted as the fiscal agent. The grant that we're doing in Lincoln County is a $5 million grant. We are building a buffer around Ruidoso Downs in hopes that should we have another fire season like we did in '24, not only will it protect the constituents, but it will also allow our firefighters to actively defend it in a much better way. So that's our goal with the funds, and what we're looking to do here with you guys is, as Eric said, our organization is a nonprofit and we don't have quite the cash flow that we would need for doing this. I will say that the state has been very, very good as far as the reimbursement requests go. Usually within 3 weeks, we have the funds returned to Lincoln County. So in this aspect, we would be able to, the RC&D would be able to handle all of the paperwork on behalf of the county. Then basically I send the forms to the county to review, sign off, and then we submit them to the state for reimbursement. So all in all, once we receive invoices from the contractors, we submit those invoices to the county. They're paid, we submit for reimbursement as soon as that payment is made. So all told, it's usually about a 3 to 4 week turnaround time for receiving those funds back. The other really, really nice thing about this is for our people who live in the WUI areas, this has zero match requirement. So it's a 100% reimbursement back to the county and to the property owners. So there's no expense at all to the property owners in this.
So kind of in a nutshell, this is like to build a protection zone around Cloudcroft in the WUI, which is the wildland urban interface, basically where the forest meets the village, correct?
So there's two projects happening simultaneously. The U.S. Forest Service is doing the 1 mile radius around Cloudcroft.
Okay.
And that's the money, it is still the same money. They'll be applying for some of those monies, and they have other pots they'll be using. So that is a project that is already in the work. And a little bit of work has already begun to that end. This money would be used within the village on not only public lands, so the Village of Cloudcroft owned lands, but it could be for the school system lands, but also private land. And that's the great thing about this money as opposed to many others. Those other funds can't be used on private. So we have an application process. It's the same process we've been going through for the last 2 years with our current funding source. Just that funding source is not funded at a state level currently, and so it's not able to be applied for anymore. So this is the next pot of money that we'd like to apply for. So in specifically that treatment area that I talked about that occurred 10 years ago, that needs a touch-up. So we will be applying that to approximately 140 acres within the village, and that's kind of our open land, our green belt parks area, but it just needs a touch-up. The vast majority of this will be focused around the homes and on private property, road right-of-ways, village property that's just extremely, the trees that need to be cleared are hazard trees, in danger of falling on houses and things, so it's just extremely expensive.
And we get around the anti-donation clause because this is such an urgent need for the area, is that correct?
We get around the anti-donation clause because the funding actually comes to the county. So
Okay.
it is going to a governmental entity, and then
Because there's no cost to the private citizen.
correct.
That makes sense,
But
okay.
it is a project that is applied for by the county. You receive the funds, and then you can contract out. You don't have to use the RC&D, but we would hope that you do. But then you can contract, and what Lincoln County did is they actually, for the overarching contractor, they went out for RFP. And then the contractor that we're using there, he subcontracts with almost all the local contractors. So again, from an economic development standpoint, it's keeping our industry going as far as our Sawyers and all of those guys who are doing the work. Eric's correct, this is some very specialized work because of the hazard trees. So it's, on the current project that we're doing, I laugh because my cost per acre is astronomical. So I actually added a column in our reporting to say, here are the number of hazard trees we have removed, because it does not equate to my standard, oh, we did this for $3,000 an acre, because some of them are a whole lot more than that, because they're little teeny tiny lots with some very big trees that needed to come down to protect the folks who live in Cloudcroft.
At the end of the day, who is responsible for anything that happens on this? Is it Otero County? Or is it your organization? Or are we just a check writer for you?
So as far as liability, so the process is we approach the individual who owns the property, whether it's the Village Cloudcroft or a private landowner. There's a contract, so there's two representatives who are foresters who have this special expertise to go out and look at a piece of property. They'll come to an agreement with that landowner of which trees need to be addressed and how it will be removed and what will end up happening. Once there's an agreement, the contractor is then selected through a process, and then that contract is signed by all parties. And that contract, is the liability for the work that's done lies within the contract. So as far as fiscal agent or even the Village of Cloudcroft or even RC&D, the liability is not on us, it's the landowner and the contractor.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And we do have, every participant signs hold harmless agreements for that. And we also make sure that all of our contractors are fully insured. So that is something they have to provide information to us before we ever contract with them, is we have to make sure that they are fully licensed and insured.
Do you do kind of a check to make sure that they're legit and know what they're doing?
We really do, and that's with the local contractors that we're using right now. We actually held a meeting prior to even cutting the tree, and some of them were like, I'm not gonna touch a hazard tree, thanks for offering. So we have very much used our guys who have a track record in the area.
Okay, I know, I come from a family of loggers, and it's a skill.
It
You-
truly
You can't
is.
just
You know,
go
it's
saw
not
down a
just,
tree in places, so.
I've got a pickup truck and a chainsaw and I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, we make sure that we're using the guys who have been thoroughly vetted.
Okay. Julianne, do you have any questions or anything that,
I mean, it's just another grant that we'll have to take on. The fact that there's not a match is a good thing. That's a good thing, but, yeah, it's just another grant.
okay, so you don't have any issues with it, or,
I mean, not really, other than just making sure that we have the personnel to make sure that we're staying in compliance with all of the reimbursement requests and all that. I mean, we won't be able to do any of the reporting, obviously, because we don't know about that, but the financial side of it and getting the reimbursements in, we can definitely do that.
okay. All right.
And-
Pamela,
and
did you have
that's-
anything?
That, I was gonna say, that is where we play that role as well, so that the entire reimbursement packet and making sure that we have met all of the requirements that state forestry has for those funds, that's all a complete packet that we send to the county, and it just then requires review and signature. So it's not an additional workload for any of the departments.
Okay. Well, I'm all for it. I mean, we've got to clean up the forest when we can, and we get this kind of money. We've got to take advantage of it. Don't want Cloudcroft to burn down.
Thank you. And this is an application process, so we haven't received the funds yet, but assuming that we are successful, then your role would very much be appreciated.
Okay, yeah. All righty. So I make a motion to request approval to act as fiscal agent for the Forest and Watershed Restoration Act in the amount of $2,500,000.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank
And have a safe trip.
Thank you. We appreciate your working with our schedules.
You bet. Thank you. Is anyone here from Cloudcroft High School? Okay, I think we will table that on number 12, and we'll put that on July so that we can contact them. I guess we can go ahead and start with our manager's reports until 10, and then we'll do the canvassing of the election.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
All right. Sheriff?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
David Black, Otero County Sheriff. Okay, might be a little lengthy here, so. For May, we responded to 2,387 calls for service. That's an average of 77 calls per day. Generated 304 investigative reports. We did 70 traffic crash investigations. We had a total of 131 arrests. We had 213 traffic citations issued. Served 204 subpoenas for the courts. Calls responded to in Tularosa was 79, in Cloudcroft was 80, in the city of Alamogordo, 508, 696 in Chaparral, 104 reports generated in Chaparral, 13 arrests down there, and 62 animal calls. For narcotics, we had 13 search warrants in May. We had 69 arrests, 53 fugitives apprehended, 1 agency assist. And our interdiction units that we spun up here not too long ago, we had 2 cases with them, and I'll give you some numbers on those stops here in a minute. 2 canine deployments. We are conducting 1 overdose investigation. We had 2 jail possession cases. Seized $3,878 in cash. Seized 10 firearms. Seized 7 vehicles. We seized 888.84 grams of meth, 4 grams of heroin, 207,000 grams of cocaine,
Wow.
1 gram of LSD, 6 oxycodone pills, 20 hydrocodone pills, 7.19 grams of fentanyl powder, and 62 fentanyl pills. With our interdiction units, they were able to work on a couple of cases, and they seized a total of 18 kilos of cocaine.
Wow.
Total amount for our narcotics division is $20,097,227 worth of illegal narcotics.
Wow. It's amazing.
It was a busy month.
It was a very busy month. Because I know in May, first of May was when we did the roundup and stuff. But on top of that, all these other stops and stuff, that they're doing some good stuff over there. Our special events, public relations, we had the torch run at Otero Prison, career day at Cloudcroft, New Mexico, Cloudcroft High School, career day at Holloman Elementary. We attended the Adams Safe School in Cloudcroft. We had the Dare Picnic at Tularosa High School. And I just want to throw out thanks to everybody that attended to that, all our vendors and all that stuff. That was a really cool event that we had up there. And we participated in several events within the Holloman Air Force Base Police Week. And on the 21st, we did the torch run here in Alamogordo. In training, we had 4 deputies that have completed a course and received a crisis negotiation certificate. And in addition to this training, all deputies have completed 2 more of the state mandated trainings. And again, we'll continue that. They will be assigned new trainings every 2 weeks so we can get them all completed by the end of the year. We had Deputy Santiago successfully completed his academy training on the 22nd of May, is now waiting for his opening in the FTO program. I have 2 deputies that have completed their FTO program and have now been assigned to shift on solo patrol. I have 3 deputies that are still in the FTO phase and should be finished by the end of the month, with the 2 others waiting for an opening in the FTO program. The physical fitness assessment we did in March, we had a total of 4 cadets that started their pre-academy phase of training right now. We'll get them prepared for the academy in June. I did have Deputy Viscara announce his retirement effective the 26th of April. I had a replacement in the background, but he has since been disqualified, leaving that position open. Deputy Eldridge has also submitted his retirement papers, will retire at the end of this month. So that's going to leave us with 2 open positions. We currently have 2 Tahoes in the upfitting process right now. One's in the shop being worked on, the other one is waiting for base space. Should be done soon. He knows the deadline. And we're still working on capital outlay and stuff for all the other vehicles that we have money for right now. So that is all I have. I will stand for questions. Was that information that you got? Was that what you wanted? The chaparral numbers and stuff?
Yes, and then this same report again, if you can email me, yeah.
Yeah. Does
I'll get with-
everybody want the report?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll get with Loretta on the other part too.
Okay.
It seems to me that this is continuing to be a problem with the border shut down now, and the cartels can't traffic humans anymore. They're resorting back to the drugs.
Yeah.
'Cause it seems like the drugs are really coming in.
You know, it's not just here. I mean, we brief with interdiction units out of Arizona, Texas, the Southwest border sheriffs and stuff. It's all over. That's what they've reverted to now, is they've gone back to the cocaine distribution and stuff.
Well, I appreciate all the work that you and your deputies do. Keep all that poison off our streets and
We are trying.
save a lot of lives by getting that off the street, so we
Yep.
appreciate that.
Cool.
Thank you, David.
I'm doing some historical research, trying to finish up a couple of things. And part of that is the emergency plan that we've been working on for 3 years, I think now. And so if you don't know these answers, because I'm going to go into your cobwebs a little bit.
Okay.
When we had that winter storm, was it in January, I think? Did we have, from the emergency plan, did we have anybody that was dedicated to being the incident commander from the sheriff's office to work in coordination with the emergency department, with the EOC, or no? Do you know?
I do not believe we had a specific person. They would be working with either the captain or the lieutenants, whoever was on duty at the time, so.
That, in the mountains, when we had that stranded person for a couple of years, couple of days. Sorry.
Long time to be
Yeah.
stranded.
Was that search and rescue activated out of the sheriff's office, or was it activated out of the emergency services? Do you remember?
I do not. I mean, we
I-
probably had 10 or 12 since
I know.
January 1st.
I know.
So
I
it would
was
be hard to pinpoint which one it was.
Is it usually activated out of the emergency services, or is it usually activated out of the sheriff's office when we have search and rescue?
Search and rescue, normally what we do is we get a call like that, missing person, or something, lost hiker, lost hunter, or something like that. We have deputies respond, and they start that search. There's a lot of times we find them before search and rescue is activated. If it goes into a couple of hours or something like that, then we have to notify state police, who initiates search and rescue requests, and that comes from the state, whether it be a team out of Carlsbad, team out of Las Cruces, up north, whatever. State police would actually activate search and rescue.
So in the emergency plan, do you think it's best that it's activated under the sheriff's department then, or do you think it should be activated under emergency services?
Well, I think we'd be looking at state statute. State statute said it's gotta be state police.
Okay, so but for our Otero County emergency plan, it would say state police would be the one to initiate search and rescue?
Yes.
Is that, okay, okay.
I mean, we-
Our search and rescue stuff falls under the purview of state police. So
Okay.
there's
Yeah,
like
we usually start, we get deputies up there, we get volunteer firefighters, or whoever to come help. After a couple hours, if we haven't found them, then, yeah, we call in state police, and they have to make that call. We can't make it.
Okay. Okay,
And that specific person you're talking about was the hunter that they had to go in on snowmobiles and all the downed trees.
No, that was,
Oh, yeah, I
that
remember
was
that one.
four, that was
Yeah.
400, I think.
I was
Yeah.
using that as an example because I'm just
Yeah.
trying to look at this emergency plan.
Right,
So
right,
that's the only reason why I brought
Yeah.
that up, is because that was the one that was on my mind.
right.
So,
I remember
yeah,
that one well.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you're up there a long time.
Okay,
I
cool.
cut 18 trees out of the road to get to them.
okay. Okay,
Okay, all
That's all I
right,
got.
okay,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you, David.
Robert?
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
Robert Lubian, Road Director. All right, so for the month of May, we saw uptick when it comes to total calls entered for service. We had just over 8,500. For calls received, we saw a significant uptick. Last month, for April, we had just over 8,600, but this month we had just under 10,500. So a lot of calls for service this month. Most of that came from the administrative side with just under 8,000 calls. 911 calls, we only had about 2,600. The abandonment rate did see a decrease to just above 4%, but our average speed of answer went down significantly by half to just under 2 seconds. Law calls, we saw an increase to 7,500. Medical, also an increase to just under 1,200. Fire calls, stayed about the same, just shy of 400 calls. We were able to rehire a fully trained dispatcher, so now we're up to 12 there. We have only 2 in training still. And then for overtime, we did see a pretty standard amount of about 600 hours. Vacation did go down, and sick did go up. Something came through the center and just took a few of us out. But overall, we have seen improvement in the staff. Our QA scores are significantly increasing, and the atmosphere is significantly better.
Good, that's good to hear, good
Yeah.
news.
Stand for questions.
I don't think I have anything.
I'm good.
I'm gonna piggyback on that, the atmosphere is better. Just being on the receiving end, I just want you to know, it's 5,000%. I don't, if you're the improvement, kudos to you.
Thank you. I will say it's a team effort.
Yeah. Can you explain to me, and Emery might need to explain, carbine, the role of carbine, and what it looks like when a dispatch center does not have carbine?
So Carbine is our telephony service, so anything that comes in through a 911 administrative line is set up through that service. But if an agency doesn't have Carbine, they should still have the equipment to be able to transfer it through either trunk lines or the EZNet to be able to get to our center. Whenever we first switched to EZNet through Carbine, it was difficult with the legacy systems that were in place, but since then, that was about December, they did make the improvements that were necessary, so there should be no issues between us having Carbine and another agency that may not.
So then why would we need it?
Carbine? Because we have to have it as far as a service, because it's either we have something like Carbine, or we have a Motorola product, or we have Viper. We have to have something along those lines to be able to maintain like the actual phone lines that we generate calls for service from.
Do you think that's part of the reason why there's so many phone problems?
I will say that Carbine has had notable issues. I do have a representative actually on site this week to discuss that, to explain that we've been having significant issues with their service and their support.
And I can't remember what that cost us. I think it was like 700,000.
I know the renewal that we just did was about 238,000.
Okay. Now, and so we just renewed it. We're locked in for a year with Carbine, so we couldn't switch to something more reliable if we had to.
Unless we find, and this is one of the things that I'm working on as far as the contract, the service level agreements that they have to maintain, and seeing if they are in violation of any of those.
Okay. Good. You did very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anything else?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Oh, Matt?
Good morning, Commissioners. Matt Clark, Emergency Services Director.
Cody Russell, Code Enforcement Supervisor.
Before I start my report, I want to start out by saying thank you to everyone in Otero County, staff, volunteers, residents, for the support that you have given our family during this difficult time. We ask for continued support as we navigate the road ahead of us. It will be a long, long journey. The support has been greatly appreciated, and I just wanted to start off by saying thank you. With that, try and do a little better. In May, the volunteers responded to 356 calls for service, 13 different fires, 282 medical calls, 14 public service calls where they could be helping out with traffic, any variety of things. So numbers significantly went up from last month, and we greatly appreciate everything that the volunteers are doing for us. Code enforcement, the 21 solid waste complaints were addressed, 2 illegal dumping, 2 with weeds, 2 vehicles, 3 open burns, and picked up some trash along the side of the road. Our office responded to 16 different fire calls and 11 EMS calls. We have 31 cases that are opened, 5 buildings are still in progress for being tore down, 18 follow-ups, and we closed 18 cases, completed 3 fire investigations. Up the slash pit, we had 161 loads for the month of May that came in, and 6 loads went out. Angie Court, has a bench warrant issued. 4409 North Florida, the property is in the process of coming into compliance. Jungsun, a bench warrant has been issued. Mike Court, the warrant is still active. Tractor Road, the guy is still cleaning up. It's a little slower, I guess, because he's down to some dirt areas that he's got to sift the dirt out. 53 Otero, advised from legal, a case was opened on the resident again. So we'll continue to monitor that process. 83 Otero, the new owner has cleared the vehicles from the property. And we're continuing to make sure that property moves forward and doesn't slip, since they asked for permission to hold off on tearing everything down. They want to take care of it themselves. 3 Poplar, they're working with a volunteer group to start cleaning up his property. I understand it's making improvements, probably just slow at this time. We opened up a case on 15 First Street. It'll be re-inspected here in about a week. And if it doesn't go, it'll end up going back to court. Desert Star property is in better shape, and the officer reopened the case after it was dismissed. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
I got one for Cody. I just want to hear some good news working with this new attorney. Is she helping anything at all?
Yeah, we had a meeting, and I feel like it went really well. We got everything laid out, and I think we have a good game plan to go from here on out.
Okay, on rules, regulations, on...
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Are we seeing an uptick in overdoses right now?
I don't have that information. I can reach out to AMR and get that.
I'm just curious, with all the drugs that are starting to flow back in, I'm expecting that to start happening.
I would suspect that's going to happen. It did last time when we saw that uptick. We got a few more overdoses. Sadly, though, what we still see a lot, alcohol.
Yeah. Are we well equipped with Narcan to help when we can?
We are.
Okay. Right, that's all I've got. Do you have anything else?
Yep.
Yep.
You see my emails, I'm trying to get a hold of where the plan sits. I'd like to see what's in the plan so far and what the holes are and what needs to be worked on.
I did see that, and I will reach out with our contractor, Tidal Basin, and see if they can send me a draft copy.
Okay, yeah, we've got about $240,000 in this, and we've never seen anything. So I think we need to see where it's at after 3 years. And then, you've ghosted me. You haven't been answering my emails I've been waiting for about 3 weeks on all of my follow-ups on all the properties. Are you, because you were getting with Aaron, or?
Yeah, we got with Aaron the week before last, and we're getting the game plan.
Okay.
And I'll get back with you on this.
Okay.
So I should have told you that.
Okay, yeah, because I sent an email per one so I could keep track of which property we're talking about, and I haven't heard anything from any of them. How many code enforcement officers do you have?
I have a supervisor and 4 codes officers, 3 currently, 1 is vacant, waiting applications.
Okay. And is that their only job, or are they cross-trained to do other things?
They're all cross-trained for other things. They do code enforcement. They're all required to be firefighter 1 and firefighter 2, and a minimum of emergency basic, EMT basic or higher, so that they can respond while they are out for assisting the volunteers in any of the automobile accidents, the medical calls, any fires, so that they can, we can assist the volunteers with their numbers are falling. And then we are also the fire inspectors for Otero County. After a year, we send them to school to learn how to do inspections of the commercial structures. So to make sure that they are all in compliance with fire code, to help protect not only their assets, but the visitors that may be entering their establishments, or in the case of a lot of them down at Chaparral, the daycares, to make sure that the kids are safe. And then they are also fire investigators. So whenever there is a structure fire that needs to be investigated, someone from our office goes and starts the investigation. We determine whether we need to have more investigation done as far as calling in state fire marshal's office, or if it's something that we can handle under the origin and cause.
So if code enforcement was moved into the sheriff's office, then how many positions would move over to the sheriff's office with it?
None of them. I would maintain them to do everything with the volunteers, continue doing their fire response, their EMS response, do all of the building inspections for Otero County, do the pre-plans that the volunteers are required to do for their ISO, continue with the fire investigations. So I absolutely have jobs for them that would not be enforcing the county ordinance.
And what are their hours?
I have them set up on 410s. I have a group that works Monday through Thursday and a group that works Tuesday through Friday, and then on call for Saturday, Sunday. And I do presently have one that is working Monday through Friday they had issues for childcare, so we had them stay with Monday through Friday. But our goal is to always have someone that is available to answer a code complaint Monday through Friday, and then if we need to send someone out after hours, we do, whether it's after hours Monday through Friday, or if it's on the weekend.
Code officers still work the slash bit too, right?
Until I get a OCCP foreman, yes. And they help, in the past, they've helped cover that so that it's not just falling on one person, because things happen, they get sick, they have vacations, so that way they can all cover it.
I truly appreciate the training that's going on right now at the Oregon Elementary School that the team put together, Will Skaggs and all that kind of stuff. I think it's an amazing training and a huge benefit for our county. I don't know what your role in that was, but it's going to benefit everybody in all the departments that are cooperating with that. So thank you for bringing that in. And I think that's all the questions I have for now. But I do want that plan.
I will reach out to the contractor to see if I can get a draft copy for you.
Okay. And, or do you know if there's any more meetings planned?
We have one coming up for the CWPP, I believe, next month.
Okay.
We were discussing when we could try and get it fit in to do a in-person meeting.
Okay. Yeah. The sooner the better, and now you guys can notify me about 24 hours notice and I can probably attend, so, because that's how it has been. Okay. So I'll be there. I would like to get this finished. How long does it take to write a plan normally?
To do the entire process normally takes 18 months.
Oh, we're on 3 years?
Not on these.
Okay. The big emergency plan, CW?
All three of those got started this year.
I've been attending those meetings for...
Those were other meetings that help with the CWPP, the Otero County Working Group. But as far as the meeting, the CWPP, the HMP, the EOP, all those started this fiscal year that we're coming up to a close on.
So in 6 months, we've spent $240,000.
In almost a year, we have spent that much.
So we've been working on it a year.
Yes.
Okay,
a full fiscal year.
okay. Okay,
And it is almost complete for draft to be sent out for final review. I know on that CWPP one. And then it goes up to the state for their review and approvals.
okay.
So it is almost complete, but yeah, it takes time. The cooperators, a lot of questions asked to make sure that they get it as comprehensive as they can.
Well, I'd like to see the plan, because I have about 50 more questions to add to it. So I need to know what's there and what's not there.
Will you send it to all of us when you get it?
Yes.
Matt, one other thing on Firewise program, we got started on it, and I know there's been some interruptions, but where are we at on,
I will ask Jennifer when I get into the office
Okay.
Later today.
because I still would like, we're right in the middle of getting
Oh,
there.
absolutely.
So either the postcards or flyers, or if we have plans or meetings or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that it? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks,
Thank
Jody.
you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Pluto, Otero County.
Good morning.
So for the month of May, we actually finished up the widening part of the 16 Springs project. I don't know if you have had a chance to run there and look at it. We were able to get about another 7 foot of width on most of that road going up the side of the mountain. We started replacing culverts on Marisol so we can get that chip sealed this year. And we're working some of the other projects as we speak to get them ready for chip seal. We got all the brush cleaned up on Dry Canyon. Ended up with about 40 cord of firewood hauled down to my yard plus what we chipped. Cleaned and replaced culverts throughout the county. Generated a bunch of pit run for the projects that we're working on right now. The east end of Rattlesnake, we're bringing that up almost 2 foot so we can get that all, the east end of that chip sealed. Patched throughout the county. Trimmed, mowed brush, and working on roof spray again. It's getting real bad. For some reason, it's getting a little more resilient. We're having to spray it twice on the springtime sprays. And sign maintenance throughout the county and blading throughout the county.
Tell them up there on, that Webster Road, we're back in there, remember when Pressler had all those logs? Did you have to clean all that up, or did you
It's
just go?
still there.
You what?
It's still there.
It's-
You're talking where you built that
Yeah.
retaining wall? Yeah, no, there's a house sitting on that now.
So it's still just kind of a road narrows in and goes
Well,
around?
it's outside of our easement. We did check that. It is outside of our easement, but yeah.
Did you have any luck with that number I sent you, the state land office?
I actually called him the day before
Okay.
and left a voicemail. He has not returned yet.
Okay, all right,
I do appreciate that.
that's okay. What's all the material for up on 82 up by the tunnel? What are they gonna do?
So the state's gonna be chip sealing just about everything they've got in this neighborhood this year.
Okay.
They're almost done with 65, 63. They've got rock stockpiled on 130 and of course 82 all the way up through. I'm not sure where that project ends. I'm thinking around May Hill.
Okay, yeah. It's a lot of material they're dumping up there, so
Yeah.
I knew it must be a lot.
Your crew started patching where the road is falling apart from rain and everything on La Luz Gate Road. There's still some holes and,
Yeah, that's been an ongoing nightmare. We actually just had to replace a culvert on La Luz Gate the other day because it finally rotted out through. And yeah, I've got shoulder work everywhere to do.
yeah, yeah. And then I got the email from Pam about the Money Street curve. Gonna add some flashing signs. Okay, that's
Yeah.
good because once you're in the curve, it's too late to see.
Yeah,
You
they're
need to
ordered
turn.
up.
Okay, thank you. And I think that's all I have. Other than, I don't want an overpass over the railroad crossing. I don't know where that absurdity came from, but I'm not surprised. It's about me, so it's gonna be absurd. That was never even in my cobwebs of even an idea that it was even possible to do an overpass over that idea, so it's over that railroad, so I'm not sure where that came from, but absolutely false. I just wanted nice, smooth crossing. That I'm working on for 3 years.
The south side of State Line Road, what's the deal on that? It breaking off down Chaparral?
Again, that's just.
The other side's really nice.
Yeah, we went through 3 years ago and completely blade patched that shoulder. I am waiting till they're done with all that heavy construction on that south side before I try and do anything on that road. Because right now they're punching in from the Texas line in and coming out on State Line Road. And I think there's two or three projects going on out there right now.
The big data centers going up.
That's one of them.
Yeah, they got some big projects. Okay, because it's getting way out into the road now,
Yeah.
so. I just thought there was a reason or something for you not doing that. I thought you remember you telling me there was a reason.
No, we just haven't had a chance to get back down there and work on that one. The crew, so the crew I have working down in there right now is a 3-man crew, and to work on State Line, and you know the traffic on that road, I have to bring everybody down there because we have to set up full flagging stations, traffic control, pilot car, the whole 9 yards. And just too many people going in and out of there, and speed limit's an option.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Good morning, Commissioners. Trent Parker, Project Manager.
Good morning.
So, the first project is the Chin's roof replacement. We have everything in place. I've got word this morning, I'm supposed to have the updated drawings today by noon. So we're gonna be setting up a meeting with the design team and with the contractor to get that kicked off and get it started. So,
Finally.
long time in the
Yeah.
works, and I hope we didn't delay it all the way into monsoon season, so create further damage. The district courthouse, the first build package has been sent to the contractor, and they're currently working on putting everything together to bid out their subcontractors. The drawings are also been submitted to the city planning and zoning so that we can get their approval for the permit process through the state. Currently, we're scheduled to actually start into construction at the end of July, which is coming up pretty fast. The groundbreaking ceremony is going to be held this Saturday, June 13th at 9 a.m. So I hope everybody can make it. That's going to be a fun one.
And I'll bring you that banner. I'll bring it down here. I was gonna bring it today and I totally forgot it, so I've got it at the house.
All right, thank you. Demo projects, there's 2 of the 5 that are scheduled next week that they're going to come in and start taking those down. 2 of them, the owners opted to demo them themselves, and so that saved us a little bit of money, but they haven't cleaned it all up. They took them down, but they haven't cleaned it up, so I'm sure Cody and his team are monitoring that close. The shooting range improvements, we did get the BLM grant approval for the new 100-yard bay and the new archery bay, so we got the PO issued to the contractor, and they'll be starting mid next week on those improvements. Chaparral Law Enforcement, I'm waiting on an updated proposal from the architect so that we can move forward with the design. We did get approval to move forward utilizing the NMSU contract with Studio D, so we were able to save that $160,000 on the design, so that was a big one. Animal shelter grant, this week we issued the purchase order for the foundation for the new building, and the building has been ordered, so the contractor, they're submitting to city planning and zoning on that as well so that we can draw the permit to begin the work. EOC generator, we finally received the generator and it has been installed, so that was a long time in the works. The administration improvements, I do have it scheduled for the company that's come in and put the ballistic glass in. They're coming in, I believe, from Missouri. They're scheduled on July 2nd. Or vested truck bays, the contractor's working on forming and placing the concrete slab, and the building's been delivered, so we're making some pretty good progress on that one. And then the Oro Vista Fire Station and Dog Canyon, we're doing some improvements to the water tanks, and we're adding some new pumps and a new fire hydrant. Other than that, that's about it. Just
When did you submit the plans for the approval to the city on the courthouse?
believe that email went out last Thursday.
Usually they're 5, 6, 8 weeks on them. That's not gonna make you July 1st.
Well, and that's just the first obstacle. The second one is, this first build package is basically the foundation. And so you can pull partial permits, like foundation permits, without having to do any type of vertical permitting. This one, because it has the basement, for us to even come up to start the foundation, we do have some vertical walls and stuff like that. So the contractor has already reached out to CID and posed these questions so to make sure that we can achieve just a foundation permit for now. But we haven't heard anything back from them just yet.
Can we do anything to kind of sprinkle a little on delay on that, or?
We're kind of at CID's mercy.
I can answer that.
Yeah, no. Thought I'd at least
Unfortunately.
ask.
But we are making good progress though on it.
Good. Anything?
No.
Nope. All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Trent.
We got about 4 minutes till 10. Should we do the canvas, or?
I think the canvas is good. Nina won't be here today. She had conflicting schedule, and then
Okay.
I don't see the Forest Service here, so yeah, I think we can go to the canvas.
Okay.
Great.
Good morning. Got a load.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Selena Mays, Otero County Clerk. I have Monique Mine as my Chief Deputy, and then I have Brittany back there, Election Coordinator. So let's start with numbers. I gave you a little packet. The first one is just candidates and their totals. Total votes, I should say. If you look, it does say Democrats are first and then Republicans are second. Our next one is we did, it's still the summary of candidates, but it's in buckets. If you see on the top, it says absentee machine votes, absentee hand tallies. It just gives you a total and how it's broken down on where all the votes come from. The next one is just a total of votes by precinct. And then it also breaks it down by absentee, early election day, and then you have the hand and provisionals. And then the next one is kind of our little breakdown that we do in the office. It gives all of our sites of early voting. It gives absentee by mail that we mailed out 1,364. We got back for absentee 933. And then on the next page, it just is our early voting sites, and it's broken down by day. It looks like Otero County Administration had 1894. Early voting fairgrounds had 1442. And if you look at that last day, they had 317 in one day, which was awesome. Really, everyone showed up. I think the parking lot had that event, the Freedom, 250 Freedom. I think that helped them out a lot.
We were sending people over there telling them to go.
There was
vote.
a big jump. That last week, I tell everybody, it was so slow, and that last week is always the busiest. In Thule, we had 62. Cloudcroft, we had 47. At the Inn of Mountain Gods, we had 53, which I think might be a record.
Oh, wow.
Because usually it's not that high. Chaparral, we had 74. And then it has election day, we had 3,570. And then we give you, it was a 20% voter turnout.
That's pathetic.
And then I added the same day registrations. We had 44 for early voting and then 70 for election day. And then our next one is just a little breakdown of absentee. It's just what we turned over. They did reject 5 because there was no signatures or last 4 socials. And then on the hand tallies, we had 30, and then 10 of them were Uokava.
Did you say 30 or 10?
30 regular hand tallies, and then we had 10 Uokava.
Okay.
Was it a little bit harder this year with having 3 write-in on the ballot? That slowed things
I
down a
give a
little bit.
shout out to my absentee board because they had to take all those write-ins and tally them to see if they were good or not, and they did an amazing job.
And then just having to put them in the computer afterwards.
It
was a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm glad everybody made it to the general with those write-ins.
Yes.
So we had 0 provisional ballots this time.
0 provisional ballots,
That's
which
crazy.
really we shouldn't have provisionals. The only way we would really have a provisional if our same day registration went down and there was like no internet, and then they would do a provisional for same day. But other than that, we're able to clear up everything with same day.
And then how come the write-ins aren't tallied on here for the hand count?
Are there writings on these ones?
I don't, because these are machine votes.
And you have to hand count all the,
Yeah, all of
Write-ins.
them, you know, and so I was just wondering, it says 24 hand-counted ballots when we know that there's more than 24 hand-counted ballots
Where are we looking at? Let me make
On
sure I
this.
understand.
on this page right here.
So those are hand tallied within, not write-ins. So write-ins are considered machine votes, but those are hand tallies that actually physically, the whole ballot had to be hand tallied. Write-ins don't fall under that.
Which it would be on this one, right?
Oh, I was like, I don't see them, but I'm looking at a different graph. Hold on.
On page 4.
Yeah, if you see it on, see how they come under absentee machine votes, because they're technically machine votes. What it does is it diverts it into a special bin, and then we go through, our absentee board went through and made sure it was either a good vote or a bad. Which there was a lot. I think we counted Mickey Mouse got 6 votes. So,
wow.
I was gonna
it's
ask you
very
that.
interesting, very interesting.
So Otero County did very good for the write-in ballots, you know, per capita. So that was wonderful. But I was wondering what your perception was of the understanding from the public for the write-in candidates.
We didn't get any complaints. I know I instructed our poll workers to, make sure, like, we can't tell them who the write-ins are, but we can tell them, make sure you fill in the bubble correctly. If you are gonna write in for a write-in, make sure you write it legibly and on the line.
And
As
we're
far
kinda
as I
able
know-
to direct them, because you guys were doing very good at putting that information out too. So we would direct them that way if they wanted to, educate and learn who the write-ins were.
And then, can you explain the process of overseeing the UOCA ballots when they come in?
So Uokava ballots are the same. The only difference is if it's emailed, we have a program called Omni, and it comes electronically. So what it does is it comes in a batch, and we have to physically print it, and then we stuff it in the envelope and turn it over to our board.
Okay,
And they all get hand tallied to keep it separate.
so does it come in anonymously, or do you know who it comes from?
We know who it comes from. So they sign a waiver waiving their privacy. So we have to get the waiver and their ballot together.
Okay. So, and when it comes in, do you only check it when you have a watcher or a challenger there present? Or what is the oversight with that?
No, we do it in our office. What happens is when we turn it over to the board, they're the ones that take it, make sure that everything, because all we're doing is receiving it, and the absentee board is who's accepting and rejecting them. And there was watchers in our absentee board, our challengers.
I just want to say you guys did an absolutely amazing job. I mean, I think this is one of the best ones ever, the least amount of complaints, the least, I mean,
Well,
it's
there
just.
was complaints.
Well, I know, but they weren't escalated, you guys were
Yeah.
handling, nobody, the phone wasn't blowing up saying, they didn't let me vote, or they kicked me out, I mean, all of
Well,
the,
if you
all
saw
the
on
stuff.
Facebook, there was a couple.
Like
No.
two,
I
just with same-day
I
registration.
think our biggest problem is, we did semi-open, it's our first one, so first ones are always rough. And I think these voters that have never voted in a primary, they were excited to come vote, but then they had to pick a Democrat ballot or a Republican, and they didn't like that.
They still
They
wanted
still wanted to
everybody.
vote everybody. And they couldn't understand it, and I was like, well, we don't have those ballots, like, you have to choose a side, and they're like, no, it says we don't, and I was like, well, you don't have to change your voter registration to pick a party, but you still have to pick a ballot,
Yeah,
and that's where
didn't-
our,
I didn't consider that a valid complaint because I understood the process,
yes,
so.
yes. If you've never voted in a primary,
Right.
you don't know, if you're only voting in general, of course you have everybody.
Right.
So that was our biggest hurdle. And then we had on the other side, the libertarians and greens, we had a libertarian, he didn't want to change his voter registration. And he didn't think it was fair that nobody else had to change their voter registration, but he did. So of course, I sent him all his representatives and senators' names, and I was like, well, you gotta get it changed by statute, I don't know what to tell you. So I think that's where, the more we have it, the more they participate, the more they understand the process for the primary.
Well, our volunteers are great. I mean, they were so amazing, and the ones out here I saw almost every day because I was in and out of here when I took the 4-H kids by. They were so kind and walking them through the process, and we've got a good group of volunteers. I appreciate them very much.
We have amazing poll workers, and
Yes.
they did very good. And all our polling sites balanced, which I think this is a first.
Wow.
That I can remember with the write-ins. We got all our write-ins. The next day, we had a board come in, our absentee board came in, and they tallied all the write-ins from election day, and everything went very smooth.
Well, good job.
Thank
Good
you.
job to everybody that was involved in that. So it did seem to be very smooth this year, so. All right.
Very good.
I did want to give a shout out to the deputies. They go to the mountains and pick up our boxes and bring
Right.
it down. We had Eric with maintenance. He had to help us. And then, of course, RB and IT were always on standby checking in on us. And I just want to appreciate it because it is a team effort, and I appreciate everybody.
It's a big team.
Yes.
Couldn't do without everybody.
And then, of course, my team.
Yes, yeah.
And Brittany. Brittany took this. I let her go unsupervised, and she did amazing.
Yay.
Yeah. Awesome. Good job, Brittany.
Yeah. Good.
Any other questions?
So, do I recuse myself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You're out. Okay. I make a motion to approve the approval to certify the canvass of the 2026 primary election.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Good job. Okay, so now we'll move on to the consent agenda items. All right, there's one. Oh, we already did that. Okay, number 2, request approval of accounts payable bills list BL 43, 44, 45, 45-.1 and BL 46. Number 3, request approval of health assistance claims and disposition claims for June 2026. Number 4, request approval to award RFP 26008 Financial Services to Bosky Advisors LLC. Number 5, request approval of resolution number 6-11-26/114-78 budget adjustments, June 2026. Number 6, request approval of professional services contract with American Stewards of Liberty in the amount not to exceed $20,000. Number 7, request approval of an agreement between Otero County and NetSmart Technologies LLC in the amount of $102,564.10. Number 8, request approval for a Motorola Solution 2 Senior Network Engineer for the Otero County Sheriff's Office in the amount of $12,720. Number 9, request approval to purchase a fire apparatus for District 1 in the amount of $714,933. Get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
No?
No. But I will say, aren't you glad, Matt, that you'll never have to explain what another apparatus is? So it could be a $714,000 hose, or a trailer, or a fire truck. We'll just approve all the apparatuses.
And I wasn't there when they put that in, and I saw it, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, never again. So we'll just get all the apparatuses we need.
Okay, we'll move on to our scheduled citizen communication. Dave Dooling and Heidi Sanchez.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for your time. Heidi was unable to make it and sends her regrets. And I have a slideshow. Going to walk through the, there we go. By way of background, I worked at Sunspot as the education officer for a little over 9 years. And this photograph goes back to 2002. Sunspot is more than just what you see here with the observatories. There is a community housing area attached to it since it started as a remote Air Force installation in 1947. It's one of the first ever space weather forecasting stations. That's part of the issue that we want to discuss. Next, please. For those not familiar with the area, this lets us put the location in context with the nation and the state. Next, please. So it's bigger than one telescope. We have residences, many possibilities. It's a unique mountain campus that we are trying to save from being demolished and erased by the National Science Foundation. Next, please. So we're going to talk about as Sunspot as a science park with respect to the education area, the housing area, and potential for an RV park catering to astronomy enthusiasts. Next, please. The big problem right now that everybody's heard about is the mercury leak in the Dunn Solar Telescope. The telescope main barrel is vertical. This is a unique structure. It was pioneering civil engineering in its day, and it has informed the design of many telescopes since then, including the big 4-meter Daniel K. Inouye Solar Telescope on top of Maui. So there's one bearing at the bottom to stabilize it, and then 2 bearings up top, one for the main barrel and the other for the heliostat, which tracks the sun. One of those leaked on January 5, 186 pounds of mercury came out. That was about 1% of the total load of 18,000 pounds up there. This is about 6.5 quarts of mercury. It is contained in the building. It did not go outside the Dunn. There is no hazard to the, no immediate hazard to the environment or any of the public. National Science Foundation has a major contractor working on how to remediate it and remove the mercury, which at that time will render the Dunn inoperable. There are ways that it could be brought back into operation, but we're looking at some additional plans, alternatives for it. Because of this, the NSF decided to go to option 4 for demolition and total remediation of the site. First option, continue operations as is, no budget to do that. Second option is what they were operating under, which was to have NMSU and other partners operated at reduced funding. Number 3 would be mothball. Number 4, which they decided to leap to, excuse me, is total demolition and remediation. Next, please. So in addition to the Dunn, other facilities there, the Evans Solar Facility, which had coronagraphic telescopes, basically they create their own internal eclipses so they can look at the super faint corona of the sun. Next, please. Hilltop Dome, which no longer has the telescope mount in it, which offers the opportunity to install a modern mount that would enable observing the entire sky instead of just the arc that the sun crosses, which is what it was designed for. It also has an optical lab in it. Next, please. The ISOON building, which started as an Air Force facility, is now vacant. The telescope was relocated up to Kirtland Air Force Base. Next, please. And our infamous grain bin telescope. That's a little bit dark there. It's my daughter looking at Mars through the reflector telescope. So this is a telescope that is available for public viewing. And yes, it was built from a grain bin that was ordered from the Sears Roebuck catalog, and the engineers, machinists from Holloman came up and rebuilt it. Next, please. The Visitor Center, which has attracted no small amount of attention, is the center of the Sunspot Solar System model. Sun is an 18-foot geodesic there, and the outer edge of it is the orbit of Neptune, which passes through the New Mexico Museum of Space History. Next, please. So other facilities, admin has a kitchen, dining hall, offices. This could be renovated, it's still in relatively good shape. This could be renovated and used as part of a tourist destination supporting guests. Next, please. Oh, back up just one for a moment. Back up to the previous one of admin, if you can, please. Very good. Okay, so the bottom right picture, you see that funny-looking metal grid on the side of the kitchen. I'll mention that again in a few minutes. Next, please. Visitor office quarters, dorm space, and VIP housing at one end. Next, please. Redwood houses, largely unoccupied, but still in relatively good shape. 6 units up on Hound Dog Hill, 10 on Coronal Loop. I lived in a couple of those when I was working at Sunspot. Next, please. Okay, now we start getting to how we can repurpose Sunspot. It had had prefab houses, 21 units. Those were taken down. They were in bad shape. They were removed, given to Habitat for Humanity, but the sites still exist. The driveways, the paths where the houses were located, utility connections. This could easily be repurposed in the first phase into an RV park, catering to the amateur astronomy crowd, this is a growing business because we can offer dark skies at high altitude, which means relatively little atmospheric turbulence. Yes, it gets chilly, but that's good for astronomy. Next, please. So Sunspot has modest impact. We believe it could grow and be a bigger impact for the county and the state. Generates over 150,000 revenue and more than 12,000 visitors from most of the nation and 18 other countries just over the last year. They come to experience the place. This is not a burden. This is an asset that we need to protect and help prosper. Next, please. So this is what we lose. The telescopes, we have an EMS station, the housing area, etc. They could all be repurposed into a combination multi-use facility for education and for tourism. Excuse me, next please. So economic and tourist impact, I won't read through all these. It would support New Mexico's growing role in America's aerospace industry. In fact, NSF even acknowledged during the environmental impact statement hearings here in 2016 that they really wanted to find some way to keep the DUN operating so that graduate students could learn the business, because the new telescope on Maui was oversubscribed the day before it opened. Everybody wants to be there. It's the biggest, baddest one on the planet right now. But we need a place where graduate students could learn the craft, learn the trade, the science, and also to draw in younger students. Have science camps where middle school, high school students could be engaged, undergraduates, and more. Next, please. So the vision for the future would include STEM camps, space weather forecasting education. Space weather is extremely important. Power grid, communications, all are vulnerable. The housing area could be used for summer camps or B&B operation for, for academic and business retreats, RV camping, multiple capabilities. But, next please, clock's ticking. The limited understanding we have at the moment is that the NSF hopes to have this whole thing done and gone by the end of the year. Once they start demolishing the DUN, it's almost inevitable that the rest will be gone. The DUN should be a civil engineering landmark, significant. In fact, the design of the 4-meter on Maui was made possible because of work that was done up at Sunspot. First thing we need is a stay of execution. Once the mercury is removed from the DUN solar telescope, there's no hazard. there's no immediate hazard at all to anybody. We would ask that the NSF simply delay the demolition so that we can get a team, state, municipal, county, and we would hope that we could get a proclamation or a resolution from the county supporting the preservation and expansion of Sunspot, because it has a lot of potential for the county, for the nation, and we'd like to see it happen. And I'll stand for questions now.
Who actually owns the Sunspot facility?
That's part of what makes it fun. The U.S. Forest Service owns the land. The National Science Foundation owns the facilities. The telescopes are operated by the Association of Universities for Research in Astronomy. They also operate telescopes at Kitt Peak, and another division does the operations on Hubble and Webb space telescopes. So it's a bit of a knotty issue. When it was started by the Air Force acquired the land from the Forest Service, and then it was ceded back to the Forest Service in 1976 when the National Science Foundation took over. Part of the land use agreement is that if the operations are ceased, then NSF is obligated to remediate it back to virgin forest. And that means literally digging 4 feet down, getting everything out, carting it away. So this is a significant expense for NSF. And I would hope they would look at our support for turning it into an education and tourism destination would relieve them of that cost. They're obligated to clean up the mercury. That's not without argument. There's really no argument or discussion about that. They have to take care of that. But once it's done, there's no need to rush. I would expect that the Forest Service would want somebody who stepped up and assumed ownership from the NSF to have financial and managerial depth so that the Forest Service doesn't wake up one day and all of a sudden nobody's there and they're on the hook themselves for cleaning it up. I don't know. That's my personal expectation, and I don't know how that entire mechanism would be worked out. But again, once they demolish things, it's moot. It's gone.
So that fire station that's on that property, did we man that, Matt?
Yes, what?
That is county volunteers that.
Yes, sir.
Back in the day, most of them all worked up there and lived up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a couple of them that live up there now. So that is a concern, especially if Apache Point remains open, because they do host a lot of people there.
Yes.
The other concern that I have is that is pretty much the only viable water source between Cloudcroft and Tiburon. So any fires in that area, we do rely on Sunspot's water.
Is that still an active house?
It is.
Yes, sir. And when I worked there, I was, for several years, a volunteer first responder with the EMS department. So it was all volunteers, and we just turned out whenever we were needed.
So you're asking the county for a letter of support?
Yes, sir. That would be most helpful. And we are working on contacting our state and federal representatives and senators to get them on board.
I would completely support this
Thank you,
letter
ma'am.
or resolution or whatever to turn it into a destination point, preservative historical value. And I love the idea of RV park, and I think it will attract that astronomy type of person to come up and, so
Yes.
I would support whatever.
Yes, and, or simply a neat place to get away from it all.
Mhm.
Because living up there was wonderful. So yes.
It's a hike up there. I went up there in high school, one worst day of my life on that bus all the way up there. I was so car sick. By the time we got there, I was gonna die. But it was fun once we got there.
So as I said, the most immediate need is to get NSF to hold off on the demolition. The mercury remediation has to proceed. No contest there. But the demolition has to be postponed at least for a year or two so we can get everything pulled together.
Have you had any contact with them? Or
With the NSF?
Yeah.
They have been incredibly, unusually reticent on the entire matter.
Are they a governmental entity or?
Yes, sir.
They're
NSF was
for us.
chartered by the federal government, I believe, within about 5 years of the end of World War II. I think it was around 1949, 1950. So yes, it says foundation in the name, but they are all civil servants. It is funded by the U.S. government, and part of their charter is that they can fund observatories, laboratories, like Sunspot, like the observatories on Maui, but they cannot staff them. So they're all GOCOs, government-owned, contractor-operated.
Okay. I think Mr. Porter, I'm gonna put him on the spot, was at a meeting where the demolition was discussed and there was a timeline. Can you,
It was a sidebar meeting, and they're looking at probably before the end of this year.
like September, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's our understanding.
Okay. Are there any plans for anyone to chain themselves to the building?
It is highly tempting, but the Dunn is a big facility, and frankly, it's gonna be a challenge for them. Those concrete walls are 3 feet thick to make the telescope stable, but it also provides stable temperatures inside. It's only a handful of times they've had to turn on the heaters or the air conditioning in those decades of operation because it has a lot of thermal inertia. Breaking that down is not gonna be easy.
We can definitely have resolution and letter by July, and I've been looking at options but haven't found anything yet, but can see what contacts are out there for National Science Foundation.
Yes, sir, and we would be glad to come by and give you whatever information and support you need in writing that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Joshua Swatek, am I saying that right?
Joshua, yeah. Good morning, how are you doing today?
Good morning.
My name is Josh Swatek, I'm the Policy and Performance Director at the New Mexico Department of Health. With me I have my colleague Dave Daniels, he's the Harm Reduction Section Manager, also with the Department of Health. And we're here today to discuss a spike in overdose in Otero County. And as part of our commitment as a state agency to work with our local partners, across government agencies, to inform you about what's going on, inform you about our current response, and to see how we can partner with each other to improve health outcomes across the state. We do have a slideshow presentation. I'm going to go through the data, everyone's favorite part. Then my colleague here will discuss sort of the response and we can answer any questions. So next slide, please. All right, so here we have the 12-month running totals for New Mexico for overdose. So basically what that means, if you look at any point on that graph and look back a year, that's the count of how many overdoses there were for that substance. So at the top there we have the red line, and then we have the green line, which is fentanyl, and the orange line, which is methamphetamine. This is statewide data, and as you can see, beginning in 2021, that's when we really started seeing that really big spike happen, primarily driven, again, by these two substances, fentanyl and methamphetamine. We started seeing that as a state really start to happen in 2019, so if you go back before this graph, that's really when it started hitting New Mexico as a whole. We started peaking, we peaked there as a state in around late 2021, early 2022, and we've steadily been declining recently up until this past year. Next slide, please. This is specific to Otero County. As you can see, the spike was a little bit later, which is something that I would normally expect to see because when we're looking at the statewide data, Albuquerque, Las Cruces, Santa Fe, those are really driving because of the larger populations. And we see those, typically the drug trends hit there
first, as opposed to somewhere like Otero County. So I would expect to see that happening. But as you can see, we had that steady increase, a spike there in 2023, a pretty significant decline, and then in 2025, a significant increase. And again, this is overdose mortality. Next slide, please. This is counts by substance, 2024 to 2025. You may notice that 2024, the data is missing for alcohol, fentanyl, and prescription opioids. This is because we have to suppress that data. If the count is under 5, we can't provide it due to privacy concerns. So we don't want to provide, if someone, one person had a health issue, we can't really provide that information because we don't want to expose that person's private medical information. So you can assume that all of those are under 5, every single one of them. But now all of them are reportable. What's really driving overdose death in 2025 was methamphetamine, fentanyl, alcohol to a certain degree, and also prescription opioids. Again, these are not mutually exclusive, so someone could have alcohol in their system and fentanyl, and those would be counted in there as well. Next slide, please. This is also the polysubstance involved death. So as you can see in 2024, 50% of deaths involve more than one drug, right? So it involved fentanyl and methamphetamine, fentanyl and alcohol, whatever combination it might be. That's increased to just below 70% in 2025, which really, we know that when people are using multiple drugs, the danger significantly increases because of the different interactions that those have in your system. For example, methamphetamine is a stimulant, makes your heart race faster, whereas fentanyl is is an opioid. It slows your system down, works on your respiratory system, and your heart. Next slide, please. So as we can see here, we've seen that steady increase since the end of 2024. We had that big decrease, which is really attributable to some of the programs that are going on in Otero County. Death is primarily, that greatest burden is between 35 and 44-year-olds, but the greatest increase was observed in 55 to 64-year-olds. Like most substance use, the greatest burden of mortality is among males. That's very typical across the country, really. And here, the things that are driving substance use mortality, the deaths that are caused by drug use, is fentanyl, methamphetamine, and co-substance use, as we've seen with these graphs. Next slide, please. Now we're going to go into ED syndromic surveillance. So that data was from 2025. It takes us a while to count mortality data just because of the way that death gets come in, right? And someone passes away, it has to go to the Office of the Medical Investigator. They do their investigation. They have to make their determination. Then we get all the death data from vital records, and we have to clean it. So it takes a little bit of time, as you can imagine, with all that information coming to the Department of Health. This is a little bit faster. This is based upon emergency department information. So we can get a little bit quicker of a picture about what's going on and report that a little bit faster, be able to respond when we see those upticks. It doesn't always necessarily match, but it gives us a good idea of what's going on. Next slide, please. So as we can see here, these are total overdose-related EDs by quarter for New Mexico. So again, opioids track with total overdoses, right? We spiked there in 2021, but have been steadily decreasing, and then there in 2024, and into 2024, into 2025, have been seeing an increase. There's something that I'd like to point out, and we'll get to why this is relevant here shortly, is that typically overdoses decline in Q4. There's a lot of theories behind this I won't get into today, but that's the basic trend, right? Q4, we typically see those overdose mortality, we see overdose ED visits decline. Next slide, please. Here's why that's relevant. So this is Otero County by number of ED visits for overdose. So as you can see there, we steadily, every Q4, we have those increases and decreases, increases, decreases. Same general pattern that we typically see with overdose. 2025, we saw an increase in Q4, right? That's a significant, it deviates significantly from the patterns that we see. So when we as public health see that, we want to jump into action. When we see something that deviates that significantly, it's a clue to us that we need to do some activity in the area. So while, we can't tell you what it was yesterday, this is a lot faster than telling you, what it was, mortality data. Next slide, please. So again, we saw that big increase in 2025, Q4. We need to look at that anytime we treat, we treat substance use as, a issue of public health concern with the public health data. We see that increase and we need to respond to that. Again, overdose-related ED visits, those increases, we're looking at 12 to 24-year-olds, and then again, 45 to 55-year-olds. So primarily in that working age group is where we're seeing that increase. And opioids, again, as you can imagine with fentanyl being present throughout the state, are really driving that increase. Next slide, please. So treatment data. We're going to talk about treatment data a little bit here. So when we're talking about opioid treatment, there are a class of FDA-approved drugs that are used to treat opioid use disorder. So things like methadone, buprenorphine, that if someone is dependent upon a substance, they can take these prescription medications to treat that disease. And we have that pretty widely available in New Mexico. Next slide, please. So these are the count of buprenorphine prescriptions filled by quarter. So this is, something that's prescribed by a medical provider and picked up at a local pharmacy. So really, sort of steady increase, sort of flat there for statewide through 2024 and into the first 2 quarters of 2025. Next slide, please. Here's Otero County. We've actually seen a pretty big increase there, a little steadying off there in Q2 of 2025. But we've seen a greater portion of increase here in Otero County. That's primarily because the public health office here is an access point for medications for opioid use disorder, like buprenorphine, actually primarily buprenorphine. And it's one of the places that we're expanding opioid use disorder treatment in our public health offices. And this is one of the places that first started that. So they have a pretty significant patient load and been working at it for a while. And Dave can tell you a little bit more about that and answer questions about that. But that's one of those factors that can contribute to decreases or help prevent issues. If we're getting people into treatment, it's less likely they're going to overdose. It's less likely they're going to be engaging with criminal justice systems. It's less likely they're going to be, their overall health outcomes and life outcomes improve just as a basis of being on these treatments. So that's why this is important when we're presenting it. Next slide, please. Again, New Mexico, this is just unique patient counts. Statistically, this is flat. Next slide, please. Again, Otero County, it was flat until about Q4 of 2025, then it popped back up, sort of increasing again, coincides with our efforts to really push opioid treatment in public health offices. Next slide, please. And this is sort of just the slides in word form, what I just presented to you about what the treatment was. So now that we've gone over the data, and we told you that we've seen this increase, I'd like to pass it over to Dave to talk about what we've done specifically in Otero County. Then we can field any questions and just have further discussion if you like.
Okay, well, thank you, Josh. So first I want to start off about talking about shifting drug trends that we've noticed in the state of New Mexico. So we do have access to drug testing channels through New Mexico Department of Health. And some of the identified changes that we've seen, the first one is an increased amount of fentanyl in the amount of substance being sold. So in the past, it was about 1%, 2% of the product was actually pure fentanyl. But over the last summer, in some of the other counties, we saw an increase of about 10%. So imagine now someone used to taking 1 to 2% fentanyl in order to stay well, that 10% increase now is going to cause that overdose. The second thing we've seen is the additions of tranquilizers in the substance. notably xylazine and medetomidine. Because these are tranquilizers and they're not opiates, Narcan will not work. It'll work on the effects of fentanyl, but again, if there's too much of the other substance in there, it will still cause that overdose. The individual will still stay down, even if Narcan is applied 2, 3, 4 different times. The thing about medetomidine now, another tranquilizer, is that if someone becomes addicted to it and then builds up a tolerance for it, it becomes scary with that withdrawal. That withdrawal is actually somewhat life-threatening. Someone would need to go to a provider or a clinic in order to get off of that successfully before they can begin taking medications for opioid use disorder. A concerning thing that we've seen when it comes to these additions of tranquilizers is on the streets, it's being sold as a top level or a top tier product. If someone was looking for something that isn't working with fentanyl, they would turn to this tranquilizer, and then again, that would cause someone to get into withdrawals if for whatever reason, it wasn't enough, which again is life-threatening. The last thing that we've seen, which is a big change, is the form of fentanyl. In the past, it came in a pill form. It was colored blue. It might have had a stamp on it. More recently now, we've seen that fentanyl has changed into a powdered form. This powder form looks extremely similar to cocaine and to methamphetamine. This may potentially cause a mix-up, where if someone is trying to sell or buy or purchase methamphetamine, but it ends up being fentanyl. A body that is naive to that substance, they do not have a tolerance to fentanyl, and they take a small amount, as we've seen, it's touted on the media, that will definitely cause an overdose and potentially is life-threatening to that person as well. So those are the drug trends that we've noticed. We have sent out health alert warnings to our providers several different times. First, at the end of last year when we realized xylazine was in some of these illicit substances. More recently in March, we sent out another health alert talking about medetomidine as well as an increased amount of fentanyl being found in these products. And also we spread this information to our contracted partners that do conduct syringe exchange, outreach, harm reduction activities, and so that they can raise the awareness of the individuals that may be ingesting this substance as well. So awareness is raised. There is also a Narcan saturation campaign that's happening across the state where we are making Narcan a lot more accessible. Of course, there is no cost to it when it's come through the state of New Mexico. We have increased the amount of Narcan being given to our contractors. We've increased the amount of Narcan being available in our public health offices. There are vending machines that have popped up that are free to access. That adds a level of confidentiality if someone wants to get Narcan out of the vending machine. Last but not least, the harm reduction section does have a website where individuals can go to. If you click in the upper right-hand corner, we will be able to mail Narcan directly to a residence within a week or so. Again, keeping it discreet. We don't want to raise any issues or bring stigma onto anybody. This website that someone can get Narcan from is nmharmreduction.org. Again, nmharmreduction, all one word, .org. So now moving on to outreach efforts in Otero County. We have been conducting outreach efforts in Alamogordo for the past 3 months to raise awareness about opiate overdoses and for the things that I've just mentioned, those shifting drug trends. We've also reached out to our partners in Mescalero to understand their needs and provide assistance upon their request. We do have disease prevention teams and health promotion teams affiliated with the New Mexico Department of Health from the Southwest region here. They've been using mobile health units to meet people where they're at and provide this outreach efforts and information as well. More targeted outreaches have been recently conducted in collaboration with the Counseling Center here in Alamogordo. Some of these activities include information distribution about opiates, xylazine, medetomidine, the shifting drug trends, New Mexico Department of Health Medications for Opioid Use Disorder program called NM Pathways, and also how to access naloxone from those different channels I explained. We also encourage the use of our public health office in Alamogordo for additional services to include STI testing, WIC, and again, harm reduction activities. We do have plans to continue outreaches throughout Otero County. As soon as we are done completing our hiring of our Southwest Region mobile unit staff, which will consist of an outreach worker, a nurse, and an MA as well, a medical assistant. But now I want to talk about the program that Josh was mentioning that helps get individuals medications for opioid use disorder. It's called NM Pathways. So NM Pathways in Otero County currently has the most clients enrolled in the state at 399 clients as of May in 2026. So what this means is that each person that's enrolled in this program has taken ownership of their addictions, has chosen to seek help, and enhance their quality of life. This program offers low barrier access to medications for opioid use disorder by enrollment into services within 48 hours of notification. We provide telemedicine with a provider who can send prescriptions to the nearest pharmacy for convenience, and access to behavioral and mental health services through referrals through the New Mexico Department of Health with our partners. This program has also been working closely with jails and with prisons to continue medications for opioid use disorder for inmates that are going to be newly released into community, so that we can continue those services and to avoid unintended overdoses due to potential lapse in care or potential relapse. Having people with opioid use disorder enrolled and successfully retained into medications for opioid use disorder programs, such as NM Pathways, reduces the risk of overdose and relapse. It improves social functioning and overall quality of life. It increases retention in all programs across the board, and it decreases the risk of transmission of infectious diseases such as HIV, hepatitis C, and of course recidivism back into jail. Enrollment into services is as simple as calling the nurse helpline that we have and answering the questions that they'd ask in order to provide the best care possible as quickly and as quickly as possible. The phone number to call our nurse helpline is 1-833-796-8773. Again, 1-833-796-8773. Again, that is directly to our NM Pathways. NM Pathways is at every single public health office in the state of New Mexico. It is run by the New Mexico Department of Health. So if someone wanted to or decided to leave Otero County, for instance, and move up to Albuquerque or move to Santa Fe, it's simply a matter of letting our nursing staff know. We can send that referral directly between offices, no paperwork needed. We're all the same department. So we can continue that level of care. That's all I have, and we're able to answer any questions you have.
If you have somebody that dies of an overdose, because we had a 14-year-old here, I think about 3 years ago, and he thought he was smoking a joint. Well, it was laced with fentanyl. How would that be classified? Is that a fentanyl death, or is that a combined substance?
So what that would be classified as is, it would be listed, you would see that under the fentanyl death if that were to occur. But there would also be other substances involved. So what they do is that we have an overdose death. They run a drug panel. So it would be in that data if there was an instance where someone was, had that situation happen.
How is, with marijuana getting to be, our state's just flooded with it, and I know that the state is actually right now investigating some of these growing farms and stuff. I actually know the person that's going out and doing that, and the stuff they're finding is unbelievable. What are you seeing as far as marijuana goes, as how they're increasing the potency of it? It's not just weed anymore. I mean, they're adding all kind of crap to it to make it a lot more potent.
I don't have the numbers for cannabis for you today about that. I think that's probably a better conversation with our partners at RLD, because they sort of manage that, what's involved there.
Right. Yeah, that's who's doing the investigation.
And I don't want to give you false, incorrect information that I don't have at my fingertips. Okay. So I can't really speak to that.
Okay, all right.
It's unfortunate that falls under regulation licensing division.
I know, and that's who's doing the investigation.
It's disappointing to hear that.
Yeah.
So New Mexico Pathways, is it ordered by the courts?
Yeah, we could have, we partner with courts, and it can be ordered by courts. We definitely have a pipeline from corrections into NM Pathways, so there are situations where people are on probation and parole. They are ordered by the judge to participate in substance use treatment, and they will participate at a public health office.
So you said 399 are enrolled in Otero County right now?
Yeah, that's as of May. Yeah.
And how many of those are court ordered?
I'm unaware of how many are court ordered.
Okay. And in your reporting, is there any kind of a correlation for drug seizures, Border Patrol captures, anything like that that correlate with the overdose and the amount of drugs?
So I will say, we don't have it specifically for New Mexico, but I will say that here's an interesting thing, is that when we typically see large-scale drug seizures, for a temporary period, we see a spike in overdoses. And I know it's counterintuitive, but what that is usually from is that you take out a dealer where someone's used to their supply, right? They're getting a steady supply, it's a steady percentage, and they now go to another dealer that has a higher percentage. It would be sort of akin to, you usually drink Coors Light, and they banned Coors Light, and now all you have is a 7.5% IPA. You'll readjust to that eventually, but during that adjustment period, it's going to have more of an impact on your body. So it's sort of a counterintuitive thing that we see, and this is sort of nationwide. Yeah.
So, until you said that it was Q4 every single time, I was thinking, okay, 2024 was really hard border closures, and did we see a difference with that? And do you think that the increase, because now they found a new way to come in?
I think the increase is primarily the change in fentanyl potency and what it's being mixed with. When we see something go from 1% to 5% to 10% and being mixed with veterinary grade tranquilizers, that's the cause of what these overdoses are. I think the cause of that is probably multifactorial. It's what is being mixed in at the local level. It's what's happening across the border. It's border enforcement. So there's so many different factors. It'd be hard to pinpoint exactly just one. But the primary reason we're seeing this is because the drug supply is fundamentally unstable and is constantly changing at this point.
What's the point of the tranquilizers? I mean, is that a high or is that a pain reduction drug? What's the point of that?
So when someone is taking fentanyl, their body becomes tolerant to the amount of what's in it. And so what I suspect is that increasing it with tranquilizers and knowing that it's not an opiate that is going to play on that receptor, it will cause a greater sedation effect. Essentially, it will cause someone to prolong or extend the high that they're used to feeling. And that's the reason potentially why it's being sold as a higher level or as a top tier, is because we know that this will work for you is what the thought is. So that's probably the reason why they would add these tranquilizers into these opiates.
I was in Philadelphia a few months ago, and there were people on the streets there that looked like zombies. I mean, they were just like frozen in a place. Is that a result of these tranquilizers? Would that do that to you?
It can be, yes.
Okay. That was a very sad thing to see in humanity.
Tranquilizers are like Tractor Supply, is that something that the agricultural, that they use this on our farm animals?
These are typically veterinary grade, so you wouldn't get it in a Tractor Supply, but it would be available in veterinary offices. The kinds of tranquilizers we're seeing, right? So like we've probably heard about xylazine before. I think it's been widely, it's another tranquilizer. That's a horse tranquilizer that's used in veterinary medicine. So again, you can't pick it up at Tractor Supply. It can be diverted from veterinary clinics, which is probably why we've seen some of this. And because it's easier to divert. It's not a controlled substance, right? It's not on the DEA's controlled substance list. And I'm talking about nationwide, not just in Mexico. So,
Interesting.
It is interesting.
It's sad, but interesting. Okay, you guys have anything else? No? Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you for the information.
That's why the dip in 24 was when you said border closing. It dipped. The rest of them, fourth quarters were all peaking.
Yeah.
We didn't have anybody, okay. Okay, nobody's signed up for unscheduled communication, so we'll move on to new business. We're gonna table number 12 because we need to contact the Cloudcroft School so they can be here, so we're gonna table this until the July agenda. Okay, number 13, request approval of resolution number 06-11-26/114-77, approving the proposed 2028 to 2032 infrastructural capital improvement plan.
Commissioners, last month I presented to you the draft ICIP. The item added to it is a tour of the pools. Again, this is not a funding request, this is just our infrastructure capital improvement plan. But if we intend to apply for capital outlay and other grants, it is required to be on the ICIP, the project is. Some grants don't require it to be on the ICIP, but we get more points. But that is the reason that Tour of the Bulls, even though we most likely wouldn't apply for capital outlay, that one does need to be on our ICIP to get that grant. So what I'm needing from you today is to prioritize the projects.
Didn't we take one of these off last time? Or am I
No, I don't
imagining
believe
that?
so.
Was it the sheriff's office fleet? Did we take that off?
No.
I just swore we took one of them
I
off.
thought we did too.
Oh, and we also added detention vehicles. You asked me to add that during budget.
I don't see detention vehicles.
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down. Before Tour of the Bulls.
I have animal shelter before the Tour of the Bulls.
Let me see, because I've got the current one. Let me see if the wrong one got attached.
Yeah, I don't have,
All right, let me
Do
check
you?
the
No.
agenda.
Mm-mm.
Let me see if I attach the old one. Okay, I have the current one. Let me go make copies real quick. Thank you. I apologize.
it's okay.
We can move to item 14 while we wait for those copies.
Okay, doke, we can do that. Okay, number 14, request approval of resolution number 06-11-26/114-79, disposition of personal property and fixed assets in accordance with the state statute through govdeals.com and online auction service.
I just have one question. Has all the documentation required for the sale of a vehicle been approved and attached with these vehicles so that when they're sold, the transfer is nice and smooth?
So yes, we had a hiccup recently. I know you're very aware of it. It was, a vehicle was submitted for auction without an actual title in our possession. I have addressed that. I have corrected that. We are streamlining and keeping the auctioning of items with one department, one person, so there's more oversight. So yes, it should not occur again.
Okay, so all the titles have been dug up,
Yes.
and, okay.
And we have on that issue heard from them. They're working on it. It could take a few weeks, they say, because they're short-staffed, but it's being addressed.
I don't know how they're gonna fix it.
They can reissue. It's been done before,
Okay.
yeah, so we're hopeful.
Ooh, even in color, thank you.
Okay, now that you have the correct one,
Well,
we
let's,
can prioritize.
yeah, well, let's vote on number 14 first. Are you gonna
Abstain.
abstain? Okay, all right. I make a motion for the approval of resolution number 06-11-26/114-79, disposition of personal property and fixed assets in accordance with state statute through govdeals.com and online auction service.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so now we'll go back to number 13. I think the public safety facility in Chaparral is probably still my number one.
Yeah. I have the guardrail for 2.
No.
Why not?
How long has it been without the guardrail?
We've been trying to fight to get that guardrail for years. And that is a public safety. Anyway,
I think I'd go for the guardrail too, because we've gotta try to get that fixed, it's a mess.
I see detention vehicles. And Tour of the Bulls.
Do we have to prioritize Tour of the Bulls?
You have to prioritize them all, but if we don't intend to apply for capital outlay, just put it last.
Okay, let's do that since we can. You wanna do detention vehicles, are you good with that one for 3?
yeah,
I figured that Tour of the Bulls, just because it was a low amount and it would most likely be funded.
We're applying for a grant right now, for the planning phase. We won't be ready to apply for construction or the actual building of the project for another year until plan and design's done. This year for the plan and design, capital outlay won't fund that. It is vehicles or brick and mortar only,
Okay.
not plans.
Do we still need the E911 expansion on here?
It was fully funded,
that's the one we marked out, wasn't it?
maybe it was.
I think it was.
Yeah, 'cause we
marked
did
out
get it
something.
funded.
We did, okay, so we
Yeah.
take that one off?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have, my next two are the, whichever order you want to put, my next priority would be the mobile command post or the sheriff's office.
I'm good with that.
And it doesn't matter to me which order you put those two in, but those
You
were
good
my
with that?
next two.
It don't matter to me.
And which order are we doing them?
You want to do the sheriff's office 4 and the other one 5?
That works for me.
Okay.
Is that good with you?
And how many we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Tour of the Bulls will be 8.
Yeah. Do the last.
So we have left is the sheriff fleet and the animal shelter.
Well, the sheriff's office relocation and the animal shelter are left.
That one is 4.
4 is the sheriff's office fleet.
No, relocation. That's the one I was on about, the new sheriff's office.
Oh, make that 4?
No, put that one as 4.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah, so take it off of this one.
Yeah.
Are you good with that?
It doesn't matter. Animal shelter is no longer on the scope.
Which ones did y'all just change so I know?
We changed sheriff's office relocation to 4
Okay.
and sheriff office fleet to 5.
And where's the?
Oh, wait,
No.
No.
Sheriff's office fleet will go to 6.
that's right,
The mobile command post will
that's
go to
5,
5.
okay. So then animal shelter is 7, and then Tour of the Bulls was 8, so that should be all of them.
Okay, number 1 is public safety facility, number 2 is Sacramento River Road guardrail, number 3 is detention vehicles, number 4 is sheriff's office relocation, 5 is the command post, 7 is the animal shelter, and 8 is Tour of the Bulls.
You forgot
Yeah.
6,
And you forgot 6.
Sheriff's office fleet,
yeah,
okay. All right, I got it.
okay. Okay, I make a motion to approve resolution 06-11-26/114-77, approving the proposed 2028 to 2032 infrastructure capital improvement plan.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. I think that's it for
That is.
that. Okay, we'll start with our commissioner reports.
All right. Kind of had a little short period. Wasn't too long since the last one, but getting back down to Chaparral with a regular monthly meeting. Next month, RB, the meeting is going to be on corporation. I didn't know if you might be interested in coming to that, to listen, to see, and maybe if you got a little time to look into a little bit of corporation ideas with me.
Oh, you mean, in Chaparral Incorporated?
Yes.
Oh,
When is that meeting?
What is it?
When is it?
Next, the second Monday, I wanna say, it'll be July the 13th.
who's, behind it, or?
The Little Chaparral Association, Silva also has $100,000 she's putting in for a feasibility study to see if it would even support, but it's all kind of coming together and just,
What time's it at?
it starts at 6 at Betty McKnight, what do they call that, Tom? Betty McKnight? Community Center, yeah, on County Line. And then, Tom and I went to Bobby Wright's funeral, down there. She was, like, probably everybody knows her. She was Cole Quick's right-hand lady for like 50 years. She worked for him. It was a full house at the service. We went to the county budget meeting. I'm again volunteering and helping with the Miss New Mexico pageant. Thank you, my wife.
You got voluntold.
Yeah. But one of the greatest things happened in the past, on Memorial Day, I got to meet my brand new great-grandson.
Awesome.
But
Yes,
pretty cool.
Congratulations.
That's it.
That was Tanner, right?
That's Tanner.
Yeah,
4 generations.
yeah, pretty cool.
Okay. In addition to running 2 businesses, chair of the Towing Association for the State of New Mexico, 2 executive boards for the Auto Dealer Association and the Dealer Industry Association, and running a full-blown campaign, I did maintain all of my county commission duties. I went to the Party City Staples ribbon cutting, the Coke dance, the duck races, CAPS meeting, the Rose Festival, 2 soil and water meetings, the FFA banquet, went to 2 Otero FRW meetings, hosted National Day of Prayer, went to the, had a meeting with Jen with Sacramento Mountain Foundation about the Recovery Center, went to a La Luz Water Department meeting, Altus Awards, went to 2 Tularosa Village meetings, had a few court cases, went to the track club competition, had a Memorial Day event for the veterans. Thank you, RB, for your help with that. Commission budget meetings, went to the 250th celebration at the fairgrounds. I went to the commission affiliates Zoom concerning new legislation.
Yes.
I went to the Keep Otero County Beautiful meeting, that was yesterday. I have formally resigned from committees. I was on NACO committees, the Economic Sustainability for National Resiliency, the Resilience Committee, the 100% Otero County Committee, the Mental Illness Committee, the Juvenile Justice Committee, the State Broadband Committee, and the State Housing Committee. I think that's all that I can remember the committees I need to resign from, but yeah, I'll work on that some more. And then accident 2 nights ago, not accident, but a burn truck in Cloudcroft. I want to make sure that we throw out a huge good job to the Cloudcroft Volunteers Fire Department and High Rules Fire Department. They really averted a huge possible disaster with that truck on fire right there, 10 feet away from the forest. I mean, so very, very good job. That was very scary.
Mhm.
Cloudcroft would have been burnt up.
Yeah, wow.
So they did an amazing job.
I heard all the sirens from my house.
Oh, and I think that's all I did.
It's a lot. Okay. All right. I had the honor to get to speak at the Altus Awards ceremony, and I don't know if everybody knows what the Altus Award is, but it's a community support award, and it's an annual honor recognizing U.S. communities that provide exceptional support to their local Air Education and Training Command military installations, which Holloman was until last week, and now we went back to a Air Combat Command. So they did a change of command ceremony out there too when they did the change of command, so that was kind of cool. Attended the budget meeting for the county. Volunteered at the Sacramento School of Engineering and Science and helped cook and serve 160 hot dogs to the students, staff, and families, and watched the judging of the cardboard chair project. All the kids had to make a chair out of cardboard that would hold at least 100 pounds, and it couldn't have any staples, tape, glue, anything. They just had to construct it out of cardboard, so that was pretty fun. Attended a state commission affiliate meeting to discuss the updates on the statutory amendments for elected county officials. Attended the memorial service for Sarah Clark, which was an amazing, beautiful service for a beautiful soul. Attended a meeting regarding possible funding for the Curtis Canyon Dam project. The Otero County Soil and Water Conservation members realized that this needs to be addressed quickly and is requesting technical and financial assistance from the New Mexico Office of the State Engineer, Dam Safety Bureau to complete the concrete pipe outlet conduit project, that pipe that's cracking in there. And there's some pretty good money they're going to throw at that, so I hope that all comes through. Attended a webinar regarding data centers in Loudoun County, Virginia. Commissioner Mike Turner from Loudoun County will be doing a presentation on data centers, the pros and cons at the New Mexico Conference in Gallup, starting Monday. I judged the 4-H public speaking contestants at the Extension Office. Attended the change of commands out of Holloman. That was very interesting. We said goodbye to Colonel Etheridge and we welcomed Colonel Mullen to come in. It also changed from the AETC, from Education and Training Command to the Air Combat Command, so they had that ceremony too, which was really interesting to watch that and how they did all that. Pretty cool. And went to Albuquerque on Monday to attend another statutory amendment meeting. This is the second year we've been working on this, and we will have a lot to discuss at our affiliate meetings next week at the annual conference in Gallup. And I attended the bigger meeting hosted by the Chamber of Commerce at the Inkwell Innovation Center to give an update on happenings around the county, and also attended that 250th anniversary out at the fairgrounds. And if you didn't get to go, you really missed out. The trailer they had out there was very educational and had some really cool stuff from 1776 to 2026. It was a neat event, and I was happy that Otero got to host that. So that's what I got. And now Ms. Pamela.
All right, Commissioners, Trent already mentioned it, but yes, the groundbreaking is Saturday at 9. We are really excited. We've been working really hard since last week to get it set up, staged. We've made site visits. Jane's Construction has agreed to bring water, coffee, donuts, breakfast burritos. Things will be quite the event. Starting Monday, I got notice from the state, your state, my intern starts Monday. So we're trying to get an office set up for her. She's gonna be with us for 8 weeks. She can work 16 hours a week. So she's gonna be doing administrative assistant duties. So we're pretty excited about that. Amy emailed me this week about getting a meeting scheduled for the junk vehicle ordinance. So if you could, I know you can't pull up your calendar right now. With the publication to the paper would be the earliest on the 18th. With the July 4th holiday, the earliest we could look at a meeting is the 6th. We have a county commission that week, a meeting on the 9th. We could just do a meeting that evening. I think we need a separate meeting just for this, not included in a regular. But I am looking at the week of July 6th at 6 p.m. any day there.
But and if we do it on the 6th, would we still be able to have it on the agenda for the 9th to pass?
You could vote on it the 6th.
Oh, so even a public meeting for the second meeting, you can still vote on it then?
If it's worded correctly, yes.
Do you think we're ready for that?
We only, normally and technically, we only need to do one public meeting and we can approve it at that meeting. So we could do that.
I can tell you I won't be here the 6th.
Okay,
What
well, I
about
went
the
to
evening of
6.
the 9th?
The ninth I'll be here.
Okay. We have a commission meeting in that morning and then again in the evening, we could do it?
I could do it on the 9th in the evening.
So public meeting on the 9th and vote on it?
You can
in the
vote on it at
evening?
that meeting, yes.
Or have just a public meeting and voting on the 9th?
Yeah, the same meeting.
Okay, I think yes.
Okay.
And at 6, is that what we said?
On when?
The 9th?
The 9th.
Ninth, okay.
The 9th at 6 PM, okay. And then the last thing I had, Amy brought it to me a week or so ago. She would like to put a memorial plaque in memory of Sarah Clark up in the county. And out of respect for Matt and Jill, I talked to Matt about this to make sure he was okay with it. And of course, they are here if they have any comments. But I think it's a great idea.
I do too. I know. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I just didn't know what to do. That's when I was thinking, okay, what could I give you? What could I help you with? What could we do? And I called Pam and I said, are we allowed to do this?
So I would like to work with Matt and Jill to make sure whatever we do, they are in approval of.
Yes.
If we could do it in the next 6 months, I'd appreciate it.
We can get it done.
Okay.
Trent and I have already been looking at some designs and some ideas.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay, that's all I had.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lots going on, but I don't think I have much to report as of today, but I can report the fireworks are back on for the Space Hall.
Oh, they are?
They-
You got word?
Yeah, they
Yes.
responded that that they could proceed. So,
Good.
yeah. So that's good news.
That is really good news.
Yeah, and that's all I got.
So just in case something comes up with that again, there's actual state statute on that. And it says that Otero County, per the map, we are abnormally dry and moderately dry right now, per the map. And that we have to be in severe or extreme by state statute in order to ban fireworks. So I didn't read that entire letter, I read most of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of this was stated, but
The whole thing was kind of a misreading of all that, and that stuff does get confusing, so I understand how, but yeah, like, you're correct, like, yeah, all of those things apply and matter, and when making those determinations, so.
okay, so as of right now, there is not a fireworks ban for July 4th, right? Because I know we have a burn ban.
I can't speak off the top of my head to the full situation. I'm not sure what we passed last month and where that is at. This is specifically to the Space Hall professional display. Madam,
We did the phase 1 burn restrictions, if you will, kind of mirroring what the Forest Service did. But before our resolution was passed, State Forest put out their own for all lands that are not federal or tribal owned, so your private property, where they did restrict fireworks from being used. And that was from the state of New Mexico forestry, not us locally. There are exceptions to that, where they can ask, especially where in the case of the fireworks for Space Hall is under a public display and there's approvals for those. That's what is in place for the state of New Mexico, and the county is only the burn restrictions, making sure that campfires are in approved rings, really not doing any open burning.
So then there's no ban on firework sales.
Correct.
And can we ban it? Will it piggyback on the forest? Can't do fireworks?
So technically, according to what the state put out in their restrictions restrictions. Chaparral fireworks should not happen because that's not a public sanctioned event. But realistically, we know it's still gonna happen. Because people are, and even in the city, outside the city limits, people are still gonna blow off their fireworks. They're just not supposed to. And enforcement is very difficult.
Do you foresee any bans or anything coming up in the next?
Not from Otero County, just what's in place from the state. Like I said, enforcement is the biggest issue, and it is really hard to enforce.
Okay, anything else?
Well, yeah, there's exceptions to it. It's, you know, gets into like, there's details where words matter and then it needs to be checked with that statute too, but it says, lands covered wholly or in part in timber, brush, grass, grain, or other flammable vegetation, you know, so if you're on like a parking lot, like the fairgrounds or something, then, that would apply, so, we'll have to, I don't know, we'll probably put out guidance on Facebook, cause, right now, we're not planning to meet, we don't have anything scheduled to meet between now and, the 4th of July, so, but, at least right now, there's no county, ordinance and, or, resolution in place applying to it.
I just think the 250th celebration is gonna be a big deal, so
It
I
is.
wanna do whatever we can to make sure it's a big deal.
Exactly.
I don't think any words on paper are gonna stop anyone in the spirit of 1776. We're gonna blow some stuff up and have a good time.
That's right.
Hopefully we don't start a fire.
Yeah, that's right.
On that
There's people
special
that think
meeting on
words
July
matter.
9th, why don't we have it at 5 o'clock? When the staff is still working on normal times, and they don't have to pay them overtime.
I'm okay with that.
We're still gonna work overtime because it's gonna last longer than an hour. We can do it at 5, that's fine too, if you wanna do it at 5 o'clock.
And the thinking and desire behind it is because people want to participate and will have input and the majority of people will get off at 5 and be able to come if it's at 6.
Well, it doesn't matter to me, I just was thinking why we don't, most of the public meetings last 10 minutes and then,
This
I
will be
think
longer
this
than
one
10
will
minutes.
last longer and
Yeah.
probably have pitchforks at it.
Yeah.
Maybe some tar and feathers.
Yeah.
Okay, is that it?
So is it 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock?
6 is,
Is it?
I mean, I don't care, I can do either.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
I just think 6 o'clock's better for
Okay.
those people that work until 5.
Okay.
We've traditionally done them that way so the public can participate.
Okay. All right, so we are gonna go into executive session, so I make a motion to recess into executive session, executive closed session pursuant to NMSA 1978 10-15-1H7 for the purpose of discussing litigation.
Can we do a roll call? Commissioner Markwart?
Here.
Commissioner